would like for you to take a step back into your brain real quick. Think of Mario 64. For the first time, Mario and all of his environments were being recreated and re-remembered in a 3D space. And being that it was the first game, it looked a little off. If you walked into a little corner in the game, it was possible that you would no clip through into a part of the game you were never supposed to see. We are talking about the Backrooms, and it is a film to me that actually tries something. And for the most part, it succeeds. But there's a huge downfall. From my understanding of the Backrooms, it is a place that you are not supposed to find, or a space between the wall that you could just clip through. Let me set the scene for you. We start off with Clark. He's an older, half-divorced man. What I mean is his old lady threw him out. He living underneath a bridge, eating Cracker Jacks and whatever he could find. I mean, the first time we meet him, he's in therapy because of it. Our other main character, I think her name is Mary. I don't know. I'm not, it could be Mary, Martha. I'm not sure. I think it's Mary though. We're just gonna call her Mary. She's a therapist who, from the little clips that we've gathered, lost her daughter, lost her home, and used to be locked in a room as a child by her mother. You know, the movie plays it cool. These two people are dealing with trauma. Clark and his therapist like to do a little exercise. A little exercise, okay? Where basically he's like, yo, like real talk, I'm gonna need you to pretend to be my wife. Like what? Basically, the argument that led to him being thrown out under a bridge is the argument that Clark is stuck in. He's almost like in a loop in his brain. He always reaches the same conclusion. It's not my fault. But the therapist is trying to get him out of that, to acknowledge his wrongdoings and be like, yo, low-key, it is low-key your fault. Like, you low-key cooked. She's not taking you back. But she's a therapist, so she has to smile and nod, and that's basically what she does as she's pretending to be his wife. And it is in this little exercise that we get a little look, a little glance, a little taste into Clark's brain and understand who he is. It does not take long for him to start yelling at his therapist the way he yelled at his wife. He basically told her, this is all your fault. I'm putting you through law school. You can't, how are you going to be a lawyer? You can't even handle law school. I'm the one paying for your law school, and I'm paying for this house, and I'm paying for law school in this house. And it's my money, not yours. And you're a fat ass who needs to get a job. He calls her a fat ass a lot. It's pretty like, every time they do this exercise, he says the same thing. He calls her a fat ass and tells her to get a job. Okay? If I, put on my thinking cap and really thought hard about this, I have to assume that she probably didn't like being talked to that way, and that's why she left him. I don't know. Just a shot in the dark. It could have been anything, Maybe she's the problem. Who knows, Maybe he's innocent. So yeah, he likes to blame other people for his problems. Mary doesn't get that same type of setup. In fact, we barely spend time with her in the beginning of the film. And our only other two characters really are Clark's friends, or more like co-workers. Yeah, I lied. Okay, Clark doesn't live under a bridge. He lives in his very own furniture store, which is ass. Right off the gate, people are disrespecting him. There's graffiti on his storefront. No one's buying his furniture. He hasn't gotten a customer all day. He does this little thing where he's a pirate and, it's kind of made to be a joke, But remember, he's a pirate. He's a pirate. Is he Caribbean? I don't know. Basically, his life is a mess. He wants to be an architect. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He is an architect. Don't tell him he's not an architect or else he's going to crash out. The whole premise of this film is being stuck in a chaotic infrastructure, an abomination in the architectural world. I mean, there are walls going slantways and hallways that lead to nothing, rooms dissecting ceiling lights. I mean, the back rooms is a mess, and yet it's attached to Clark's furniture store. But it doesn't take long before Clark goes down into his basement and sees a sliver in the wall. And then we get our first look at the back rooms. Clark just kind of goes up to the wall and just like that, he's in the back rooms. There are these chairs everywhere. It looks like a mess, but there's something chasing him around in there. And we don't get a good look at it. We hear heavy footsteps. We know that this monster is large. We're setting this up. We're getting people to question what it could possibly be. Clark, he keeps going back to the back rooms. I mean, but bro gets on his Indiana Jones. He got the little backpack and the little rope and the goggles. He feeling like an expert up in here. He done mapped out the whole place. He's obsessed with it. And then eventually he tells his therapist, like, yo, I just saw some scary shit. I think I'm crazy. The acting here and the character work is really good. The therapist, you know, she's like, yo, low-key, I think bro might be insane. Maybe I was wrong about bro. You know, I don't think he's really there. But he's like, you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna get proof and I'm gonna bring back some video evidence. So he gets his two little buddies, minimum wage worker and her boyfriend, to come inspect the back rooms with him. Like I said, he got the rope, he got the bag, and they make it a point to show that Clark's really good at tying knots for some reason. I don't know what he and his wife. Before we move on, I want to add, his wife is ginger. She's a ginger white woman. It's gonna make sense. I'm telling you. Basically, they go spelunkying into the back rooms, and everything goes off the rails. They end up sending the boyfriend down a hole, you know, with the rope. They're feeding it through, and then the boyfriend sees a big shadow watching him. Ooh. What could it possibly be? We don't know, because before you know it, boyfriend is yoinked into the darkness, and Clark and minimum wage worker are both flung into the darkness. They can't get back up. They're cooked. Honestly, this is the point of the film where things start to feel a little rushed. We don't see much because it gets really dark. We kind of get this little found footage moment where he takes a camera because he's trying to bring proof. You know, he's trying to tell the therapist, look, you're not about to 5150 me, because I know what I've seen is true. The problem is this. Clark is insane. And we'll soon come to find that. We find these weird looking people in the dark. And I gotta say, their designs are pretty cool in the dark. It looks really scary. You know, at this moment, I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Tensions are high. But no, we never see them again. I'm lying, we do. Kind of. We then switch to Mary, who's having flashbacks about her childhood where she was locked in a room. You know, she's sitting there in the seat, she's waiting. She's like, yo, Clark hasn't been through, like these checks ain't coming through. Like, where's Clark at? It don't look like a very big town, and probably even less of those people in the town actually go to therapy. Judging by how Clark was acting, he's definitely her main source of income. And without his checks, you know, she's like, yo, my light's about to start flickering too if he don't pull up. So she goes to the furniture store to go find him, which I knew was gonna happen. We all knew was gonna happen. He told her exactly where he found this back rooms, and he's marked the entrance with tape. Like, he's an expert in this, literally, over the course of like a week. So she goes to look for him. She goes in, not immediately. You know, she runs around a little bit. But we do find Clark, and he's kind of like hiding around the corner. I'm like, oh, like, what's going to happen? You know, I'm thinking it's about to get real scary up in here. But then he just kind of walks out. He's like, oh, shut the hell up. You're being too loud. I'm like, okay, the monster's around the corner. So he comes out. We're waiting for the monster. And then, you know, you can kind of see this coming because he was acting a little weird. Oh boy puts his therapist in a chokehold, like, just like that. I'm like, damn. Look, it's not said how long he's been in there, and I'm not an expert on therapy. I'm not sure how long these sessions usually go in between. But judging by the fact that she actually went to look for him, I'm assuming it has to have been maybe a couple of weeks. But bro did a complete 180. I mean, the last time we saw him, he's trying to find his minimum wage worker, and now he's over here attacking minimum wage workers. She not minimum wage. She making a lot off of Clark, trust me. Mary wakes up, the therapist. And here we get the big, grand, almost reveal type of climax, okay? The start of the climax. We are now in the thick of it. Because when Mary wakes up, she's tied to a chair, and Clark is sitting across from her. So let me paint this picture for you. It's sub dark. She's tied up with them army knots I told you about earlier. And there are these three figures in the room with them. A well-fed man to the left, a ginger mist-shapen faced woman in the back, and a little dude with the lamp sitting just yonder. And here we get our little explanation. Did we need an explanation? I think in some ways it works. And here's my favorite part of the whole film. Remember I told you Mary was stuck in a room when she was a child by her mother. Well, Clark starts explaining that the backrooms is basically just this place that has no rhythm or reason for existing, but it does. And It remembers things from the real world. And as he's explaining this, we see her childhood bedroom. And I only saw the movie once, and I was just kind of trying to hear what he was saying. But there's this shot. Either they built a miniature of these rooms, but basically as he's explaining how the backrooms tries to remember things, we see her bedroom, and as the floors go up, maybe a window's missing, and then next time maybe the bed is missing, and next time things are a little crooked. And then the more deeper you go into this memory, the more time passes that you try to recreate this bedroom, the less of its essence the back room creates, until you're left with nothing but just a yellow tinted office building. And so basically everything we've been seeing is in some subconscious way related to the memories that they've had growing up or just in their lives. And I really like that shot, and I like that little explanation. That part I felt was obvious, which is why I think the explanation worked. However, he then starts to explain the people around him. I told you Clark was unhinged. Well, just the last time we saw him, he was trying to find his minimum wage worker, remember? He opens the fridge, and there she is. Kinda. Her head in the fridge. And bro's just like, oh, yeah, I forgot to pick up the milk from the store. And he just doesn't even like acknowledge the head in his fridge. He just shuts it. He's like, oh yeah, oh her? After closing the fridge, he turns to the well-fed man and says, these people are just like the back rooms. These figures that are in the room with them are just like the back rooms. They're just memories of people. Because he's an expert now, like I said. But the thing is, he loves this place. But he still wants to practice on his therapist. Pause. So they do the reenactment again. This time, bro's like, hold on a second. Now, you don't look enough like my wife. You know, something's missing. So he goes up to the misfigured woman in the back, who just so happens to be Ginger. Remember what I said. And slices her top smooth off, like, and then plops it on the therapist's head. Okay. Now you look like my wife. So then he calls her a fat ass again. And he goes through this whole conversation again in his head, except this time he's a lot more unhinged. And the therapist, she's trying to keep her cool. She's trying not to offend him. She's trying to play his game, but she's also freaked out because she got somebody's old nasty weave on her head. At first she goes along with it, but then she's like, nah, she knocks the weave off. That whole little, like, you know, that therapeutic little persona fades away. She's like, you know what the problem is, Clark? Is you. She left because of you, bro. She's like, bro, you chop. You live in a furniture store that don't nobody want, don't nobody respect you, okay? Your only employee's dead. You don't got nobody. You got rats in your place. The lights is flickering on and off. Your wife left you. She probably sleeping with somebody else in the house that you paying for. And you want to know why? It's because you're annoying. So she basically just lays it all out. Bro's like, he has like a breakthrough. He's like, you right. It's been me the whole time. But he's like, yo, but low key, I don't want to change. I like being miserable. She's like, okay, then don't change. I can't help you. You're cooked beyond belief. I'm a therapist and I can't even help you. So you could stay here all you want, but I gotta go. So Clark unties her. He got a little disfigured shorty in the background anyway. You know, he don't need nobody else. He starts untying her, but then comes the footsteps. The monster is finally approaching. Prior to this, we've only heard footsteps. We've seen shadows. Almost like a triangular shape. Like a tall ass Phineas was stalking him, or like a big giant Dorito, or what I personally believed, a pterodactyl. Before we get to the reveal, let's discuss the backrooms real quick. In the beginning of the film, we have these like scientists, or like this scientist worker with a hazmat suit running through getting chased by something. And in that scene, we see a bird fly through into the backrooms and break its neck. We've seen the shot of the fly when Mary found the backrooms as well. Point I'm getting at, animals can get in here, which means in theory you should see a lot of very weird abstract things. Had anything been chasing you, it could possibly have been a triceratops, or a caveman, or a woolly mammoth, or a giant lizard, a crocodile or something. I mean, imagine this. If this place remembers things and loses its essence every time, and that's what the people look like. Imagine, what is the monster going to be? What do you personally think the monster is? Oh, hell. I can't even express what I felt when that was revealed. You could tell by looking at it, it's supposed to be a recreation of Clark. So the big bad monster that proceeds to then chase the therapist around for the rest of the film is this wonky, goofy ass looking pirate. When you look at that face, what sound comes to your head? Cause I know what sound came to my head. It does not work. It looks way too goofy. You know, props to them for using a 7'7" man. It just looks like one of those goofy CGI monsters from It. Pretty much as soon as they reveal what it is, all the fear. Whew. That's not to say they couldn't show the monster. I think in general, they just needed a better monster design. And then what happens, it's really on the nose. Clark is like, did you hear that, big guy? We don't have to change. Like literally, he goes up to her. He's like, she said we don't have to change. We can stay the same. The monster then proceeds to pick him up and eat him. Clark is dead, and then the monster chases her. She's like smacking it. We see it under the fluorescent lights. It looks even more ridiculous. And some of these locations are pretty terrifying. She has to run up like this staircase with a giant abyss beneath it. Beautiful. I was already a little disappointed by that goofy looking pirate. But to make matters worse, and this is no fault of the movie at all. Man, I went to Harlem, to Magic Johnson Theater with my mother to see this film. When I tell you, remember that scene in Scary Movie when Brenda wouldn't shut the hell up? And so everybody in the audience, this random old lady picks up the phone and starts having a whole full-blown conversation about how much she hates the movie. The audience members were like, yo, shut the hell up. And so she started screaming back in the middle of the theater. When she left, we were legit on the closing shot of the film, which has Mary, or at least a memory of her, stuck in the backrooms eternally. And that's pretty much how the film ends. That being said, because of the set design and the acting, I'm still gonna give it 7 out of 10 Glens. Patchy the Pirate gotta go. Peace.